back to another video and welcome to Sammy G's World of Cinema. Today on the channel, guys, I'm gonna do a bit of a spotlight video. Now, this is on a director who I just think makes some really good films, quite underrated director. And I believe he's got a brand new film coming out, I think this year, I believe so anyway. But yeah, not seen all of this director's work, but I have just really have enjoyed the film as I've seen. And I just thought, guys, do you know what? It'd be a good kind of spotlight, on a director and yeah, to recommend 5 of his films basically. And the director in question is the director Jim Jarmusch. Fantastic director. I watched Broken Flowers for the first time recently. That's not the film I'm going to be spotlighting today, but I did really enjoy it. And yeah, there's still a couple of key films I do want to check out for the first time still. There's like films like Coffees and Cigarettes, and I think there's The Dead Don't Die, The Limits of Control, and Stranger Than Paradise. So there's still a few of Jim Jarmusch films I need to still check out as well. And if I do eventually check out all of his films, I may do a ranking video at some point, who knows. But yeah, I'm going to get right into it now. So the first film I wanted to kind of put a spotlight on is, this is not like a ranking video by any means, guys. This is just out of the hats, just 5 of Jim Jarmusch's films that I could recommend to the channel. Let me just see if I can bring that down a little bit in my chair. There we go. Right. So, the first one to highlight is like I would even class this as like an anthology film, a film that, you know, is set like, I think it's like 5 countries. There's New York, there's Italy, Rome, Paris, there's, I think, Germany. So yeah, there's a few like I think there's also in America there's LA as well. So like 5 different places. And this is a fantastic, underrated, like anthology sort of film by Jim Jarmusch, and that is Night on Earth. I watched this for the first time a couple of years ago, and I absolutely loved it. I just remember one night, I chucked this one in the player, and I watched it one summer's night, and I just absolutely fell in love with this film. So many like different sort of conversations that play throughout this movie. Yeah, there's one in particular that sticks out to me where I think there's one conversation that takes place in LA where an actor just comes up from like the airport, and there's a lady driver there, and then she's kind of, I think, got to drive this actor to like their audition. And there's a bit of a heated sort of like conversation going on there. There's a guy that's kind of getting a bit of the cold shoulder when he's driving along like in Paris. And then there's these 2 guys, and they're kind of not the nicest people in the world. And yeah, they're kind of just banging the drum and just not. They're having, again, a little bit of a heated discussion. And then I think there's a blind lady that comes into that segment of the movie later on, and she's had a little bit of a harsh relationship she's just come out of, and yeah, she's basically talking to the guy about that, and yeah, it's a very interesting film. There is like a bit of a thriller-esque theme going on there, I think, involving like a priest. I think a priest is involved, I think, in I think this happens in Rome, where there's a priest that gets like picked up in this cab, and there's a bit of a mystery feel going on there. There is also a guy, a taxi driver. There's these 2 passengers that are drunk, have been out on the booze, and there's been a bit of a tragedy that's happened along the way there within like kind of what their conversation about. So really good movie, very like kind of a movie on its own accord there, in regards to like there's not another movie compared to it where I don't think there's been another movie that's done an anthology film where it's just focused around, I think, 6 or 7 taxi drivers from 6 different places in the world. So really good film, that one, guys. I would definitely recommend that one. That is Night on Earth. And yeah, set at like either like, as say, late at night into early hours of the morning. So yeah, real, if you like your anthology films, I would definitely recommend this one. And kind of similar theme going there, but I think this one's got a little bit of a Tarantino feel about it. Possibly a film where Tarantino could have watched this and think, oh, do you know what? I'm having a bit of that myself. And yeah, could have had a bit of an impression of Tarantino, this one. And that is the film Mystery Train. Really good film, this one. This is like focusing on a trio of perspectives. So for like each different set of characters, I think we focus on a couple that have travelled from like Hiroshima, and I think that the guy, her boyfriend is a big Elvis fan, and they just arrive at this hotel. I've got to say, the receptionist and that guy as well, they have really kind of quite funny chemistry there. Is it Screaming Jay Hawkins, I believe? I think he's behind like the reception there. And yeah, so you focus on them at the start with this couple, and I think it's about this guy's like love for like Elvis's like music there. And then I think the second story in this film, you're focusing on this lady. I think she's just come from like a bit of a harsh relationship. I think her marriage is on a bit of a decline. She thinks that someone is lurking around and following her, so she has to hide. She has to keep herself safe, secure, and she decides to go to this hotel. And then there's just other things going on there, really. And then the third story is probably my favourite. You've got Steve Buscemi and then Joe Strummer. So Steve Buscemi, Joe Strummer. What could possibly go wrong there? And yeah, we get a bit. That's a bit of a crime feel to it, where they basically go to like a like liquor store. There's a bit of a robbery that goes on. I think someone gets murdered, so they're kind of on the run, and then they decide to hide out in the hotel, and then something else goes on there. So you kind of think this is the sort of story that might have had a bit of an influence on something like Reservoir Dogs, Mystery Train, and a good song as well, and obviously song by Elvis Presley's there. So that is Mystery Train. Definitely Jim Jarmusch, I think, would have been influenced by Akira Kurosawa, I think, to making this film. I think this film came out in 1992, and this also has a little bit of a Tarantino feel about it as well. And obviously I do really like Tarantino, guys. Just to say, I just think there's aspects of these Jim Jarmusch films that does feel like a Tarantino style. And yeah, this is a really interesting film, and Forest Whitaker possibly gives one of his best leading performances in this film, and that's the film Ghost Dog, The Way of the Samurai. Yeah, I think this film is really good, guys. I really enjoyed this one. Yeah, I think I remember recommending this film to Ollie a little while back, to be fair. Possibly Tim. Did I recommend this one to Tim? Quite possibly. But really like this film. I love the sort of that this book gets a bit of love in this one. Rashomon, you get a couple of references to the book of Rashomon in this film. So the hints that I think Jim Jarmusch possibly could have taken a bit of inspiration from Akira Kurosawa there. It was just another fantastic director, absolute legend right there in filmmaking. And yeah, just a really good film where Forest Whitaker plays like a hitman. He knows like this sort of like this samurai codes, this Morse code, and he kind of sort of does this sort of secret code communication with like his pigeons and this like rooftop where he's living in this apartment block. So he makes a deal with this mob boss called Louis, who saved his life years prior. Louis is rivaling off with this like gangster, and he he's basic. I think Louis's wife is cheating on Louis with this gangster, and this gangster is basically working for this other mob boss. There's just a bit of a rivalry there. This mob boss, I can't remember what the mob boss name now. I think it might be Fargo, I think it is. So he's on a mission to go after him, and he's obviously this hitman working for this mob boss. When he goes to his apartment, you know, like obviously he's got to do his duty, he goes on this mission, and then you find at some point in the film that is going to come back and haunt him, and when he least expects it, and these like gangsters like on his case, he's learning the ways of samurai and martial arts, and then he at one point he's got to make sure that this girl is okay as well. I think he also is friends with a guy who a French guy who is like working at this ice cream parlor, and they've got their own like friendship there. And yeah, I really do like this film a lot, to be fair. Love the music from RZA, I think it is. Love that opening theme. You can tell that music's got a very 2000s feel about it. And yeah, like I say, I think Forest Whitaker does a good job in this. And this has just got like a real Tarantino feel about it, where you're just focusing like again like this limo, this mob boss is just behind a like ongoing conversation, and there'd be like this big house, and then another minute you're focusing on like kind of just one main character there. So yeah, that's another recommendation there from Jim Jarmusch's filmography with Ghost Dog, Way of the Samurai. So the other Jim Jarmusch recommendation is so far my favourite Jim Jarmusch film. I just really like this film. Think it's massively underrated, like an indie drama as well, with Adam Driver, and that's a film called Patterson. I can't remember if I've talked about this one in a drama recommendations video or not, but really good film, very good, like very simplistic, you know, something like kind of where there might be a bit of a routine going on, a day-to-day routine, you know. It's kind of similar, something like Perfect Days that came out a couple of years ago. But Adam Driver, funny enough, is a driver in this film, and he is a bus driver. He's got his own routine going on. He'll go to work and he'll drive around, like obviously, you know, like he sticks to his routes, and he's, you know, like where he's gonna go, like destination wise. He does his own, like, I think he does his own poems. I think he's got a love for poetry. And I just love that part of the movie. He would go to see his friends with at this bar as well after work, and they would just hang out and just chill, like him and the bartender, another friend, and I love that. But what I love about this film as well, that his wife is just so lovely. His wife is just such a lovely, caring being. I believe this is the same actress from that starred in the 2021 version of The Suicide Squad, and she does a fantastic job in this film as well. Guys, I am so sorry about the lighting, by the way. I didn't know what is going on with that, the weather out there. 1 minute it's sunny and then it's going back in and back out. Don't know what's going on, but we digress. Anyways, so yeah, really good stuff. There's one scene that I absolutely love when he's sat on the bench. There's this guy as well, and they're just kind of observing like this sort of like the scenery around them, and they're just having a really good like life discussion and that. Also, the main wife in this film has got a love like baking and baking these cupcakes. There's no like arguing. There's no like kind of you know, like any disagreements. They're mainly on that kind of you know, that they're really on good terms throughout this film, and it is just a lovely little film, this one. I always gonna have to thank my friend Joey, who I used to work with at my previous workplace. Now, I remember Joey recommending me obviously the works of Jim Jarmusch, and he said, Sam, you probably would really like the film Patterson. because obviously I've been into like indie dramas for a number of years now, and I think he said, Sam, yeah, maybe give this one a watch, mate. I remember instantly buying the Blu-ray on the strength of Joey's recommendation. I watched it one night in, and I think it was when I was living in Cramlington at that point, and I just remember falling in love with that film. And yeah, it's just a very simplistic yet beautiful drama piece. So yeah, I'll go with Patterson with that one. And Adam Driver's really good in that film as well. A film that, again, I remember Joey speaking really highly of. I know this is John Edmondo Chelovec's favourite film of all time. I remember John speaking very highly about this on his channel. And I just thought to myself, do you know what? I went straight in and picked up the Criterion Blu-ray of this. And this is a great kind of underrated film. In one way, it's kind of one of Jim Jarmusch's more well-known, well-revered films, and quite an influential film, but still, I don't think gets as much credit as it deserves. But it kind of a film of two halves, really. And that's the film Down by Law. So really good, like kind of set at this prison in Louisiana. You've got Tom Waits as this DJ, a guy who is getting in trouble with the law, as the title kind of suggests as well. This guy is getting in trouble with the law, and you've got a tourist that is Italian. You've got three personalities in this film, and it brings them together in this prison, and you're just kind of focusing on their interactions. I really like, there's one scene that stood out to me where they just like kind of just chanting about ice cream or something. I really kind of find that quite charmful. But yeah, you focus for a vast majority of this film where they would just be in prison together, but then they kind of want to shy away from that and go on like their own like kind of sprawling adventure, and they go like canoeing, they go on this boat through the Louisiana, they go through like this river, and you kind of focus on that really, and then that's kind of what the remainder of the film has to offer. And yeah, I just think this is a really good like sort of character study, great character driven film. The black and white cinematography is really pin sharp to this one, and yeah, I kind of like, again, the ending is kind of not really to what I expected as originally in that first time viewing. And yeah, I think if you new to Jim Jarmusch, I think it's a great starting place. I think Tom Waits is always great in these sort of films around this time as well. The three main leads, I think, all again carry off great kind of personalities, and you know they really kind of deliver with their dialogue and the scripts they're given. And yeah, just kind of a film of two halves as well. So yeah, I haven't seen this one for a while, but I think, again, I would definitely recommend if Jim Jarmusch is a director you're interested in and you're yet to check out your first film by Jim Jarmusch, you can't go far wrong with this as your starting place there. Interesting film, this one, and I kind of like that downbeat music as well laid in that one. Haven't seen it for a while, only seen this the once, but I do remember really enjoying this one. Not to the same degree as maybe a few other people did, but I'm really kind of think, because I haven't seen it for about actually getting on 4 years, I've got a feeling on second viewing I'm going to get a lot more out of it as well. And yeah, a really kind of good like crime thriller but like hangout movie as well. So there's Down by Law there. So guys, that is 5 Jim Jarmusch recommendations. Fantastic director, really looking forward to his brand new film. I think it's already come out elsewhere, I think in 2025, but it is in the works, I think, to get its UK release in 2026. So I'm really looking forward to that, because yeah, I'm yet to see my first, actually, sorry, I've already seen Mystery Train at Tyneside Cinemas, so I think this is would be my second Jim Jarmusch film seen at the cinema. But yeah, also like again, Mystery Train, I remember watching at Tyneside Cinema. That was my first time viewing of the film. Didn't really know too much about the film, didn't really see any trailers, and I just remember really enjoying it. And yeah, just again, something different to what I've seen prior all that year. So, and again, yeah, I remember being recommended that director when I was working at where I used to work, and one of my ex-work colleagues, like me, a film fanatic, and we were just talking about directors, and Jim Jarmusch I was a bit of a newcomer to, so yeah, it's kind of good to kind of spotlight 5 of his films that I think is deserving of more recognition there. And and I definitely would like to check out the remaining Jim Jarmusch films that I haven't seen as of yet, and possibly do a ranking video of his filmography in due course there. So yeah, guys, do let me know your thoughts on any of these films. Have you got a favourite Jim Jarmusch film? I would love to know all of that good stuff in the comments down below there. So thanks for watching, cheers for stopping by, and until next time, I'll see you for the next video. Bye bye, take care guys, thank you so much.